My name is Rudy Cartassi. I live at 207 East Dillard Street, Mebane, North Carolina. I don't know the precinct, but it's in Mebane. Good evening. Last time I was here, I wished everyone Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And based on what I hear now, I kind of got to jump around for a moment. So I had a top three, but we're going to just wing this one here. I want to start out off by saying this, and I think everyone needs to hear this and understand this. Any government powerful enough to give people all that they want is also powerful enough to take it away whenever they want. And that goes for everything, whether it's gun rights, automobiles, planes, cars, trains, whatever. Anytime a government is powerful to do that, they can take it away from us. So be mindful of that. Next thing I wanted to go through real quick here was the Bruin decision. As the county attorney knows, he's an attorney, there's a thing called the Bruin decision. It got rid of balanced testing, which is, and I think it was Supreme Court Roberts that said this, anytime you try to balance a right, you're going to have infringement. So imagine there's a scale, the scale of justice balancing something, balance scale. If you start picking and moving stuff away from that, there is an infringement. Whether that's on any right, First Amendment right, Fourth Amendment right, Second Amendment right, anytime you start trying to balance stuff, that's when you have a problem. And realize our government was designed from this from day one. When you start trying to tinker with rights, it's 10,000 times harder than doing with an automobile, because an automobile is a privilege. So you're doing the difference between a right and a privilege. The right is 10,000 times harder to move than it is a privilege. And with that being said, look at McDonald versus the city of Chicago. The Supreme Court even said, hey, look, this just doesn't apply to federal government. It also applies to state and local governments. And I look forward to working with the county attorney. I'm sure you have my number. If not, you can look it up or you ask it for any of the commissioners. You can ask Terry Johnson. He knows where I live. He knows where I work. I'm not a hard man to find. So I look forward to working with you. Come on down. Let's talk and meet. But what we can't do is start infringing on the rights of our citizens. And that includes the gun rights. And that includes the Fourth Amendment rights. And the First Amendment rights. Kind of North Carolina, the right to the fruits of our labor. That clause in there, I run a gun range. I run a gun store. That's what I do for a living. So making ordinances that were proposed like this, as you can see, and I think the county commissioners did the right thing there, where they all looked at it and said, this is a problem. And I appreciate you guys. And hopefully in 2 more weeks, we'll be back here and we can have another master class on how not to hurt our rights of our citizens. So thank you very much. You all have a great day.
All right, that was Rudy Cartassi, owner of Rad Range. And he doesn't want his...
Richard Clark.
Richard Clark. Now, he is also, he's spoken several times before.
Gerald Long.
Richard Clark is
Gerald, I see you've signed up twice.
I think he's like a noise specialist, and if this is the same gentleman, he spoke several times for Rudy. Let's see what Richard says here.
Talk too much.
Richard, pull the mic closer to you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So, the purpose of what I want to talk about tonight is sound, okay? I've heard so much about complaining about noise, and I think it's about time that instead of he said it's this and you said that, I want to establish myself as an expert on the subject of sound. Anybody that hasn't read this book doesn't have any right to be talking about sound. I mentioned in this book, the author on page 34, there's a chapter on the 50 most influential people in the world of audio, and I'm one of the 50. So I know what I'm talking about. Now listen, just so y'all want to know, our Pledge of Allegiance was 90 dB in here. And I went to the 2 properties right by their mailboxes the other day while Rudy was shooting off a 7mm machine gun. And at, let's see, at the log cabin, it was 88 dB, almost as loud as our Pledge of Allegiance. Okay? I own the 3 pieces of property that are closest to the range of anybody else. And 20 feet from the property line, I measured 89 dB. And over by where this sheriff lady lives or something like that, I measured 84 dB with a large caliber 7mm machine gun going off. I have personally done sound systems for 3 U.S. presidents. I have toured with more rock groups than any of you could name. I quit touring, and the last tour I was with Neil Diamond. I've done Pink Floyd, I've done Aerosmith. I have 30 U.S. patents on audio devices. Go to U.S. Patent Office, put my name in there, and you'll see them. The one I'm most proud of is one that I did along with, I share the patent with Diane Cooleyport, who is president of the National Audiological Society. And I invented, came up with a process of digitally measuring and ears. And all these little earbuds that you see them selling on, what's that football player sells the little, oh boy, he worries me to death, but
Joe Namath.
Joe Namath. It made those possible. That's, all of those are made under that patent. But I don't charge for the patent, okay?
Mr. Clark, we thank you.
So he is a
What's the name
noise
of your
or
book? I couldn't see it from over here. Mr. Clark?
Handbook for sound engineers.
Handbook for, I'll leave this with the council here.
he's a sound engineer, and apparently he's well respected in the field.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you very much for allowing me to speak to you
Jim
this
Young
evening. My
is
name
next.
is Gerald Long. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Central Carolina Gun Club. I'm one of the trustees there. And I just want to say that I applaud the efforts that you guys are working on here. I know this is a very tough issue, and we have always at Central Carolina emphasized safety and been conscious of our neighbors from the very beginning. And everything was done in terms of the range design to make sure that we were good neighbors and that we were safe neighbors. And, you know, given the ordinance as it is written, it is my opinion that it will not accomplish your objective of making your residents close to the ranges more safe and/or give them kind of domestic tranquility, if you will. I think there is solutions to address the issue, and I think it involves adults sitting down, the ones with vested interests, people from the gun ranges, of course, county government, and I would argue also residents, to come up with a solution that addresses the problem. So I do this at work all the time, and I think it can work here. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you.
And we thank you.
Trustee
And I
of the
look forward
Central
to
Carolina
being
Gun Club.
involved to whatever degree you would have me. Thank you very much.
After Mr. Young will be David McFarland. And I think, Mr. McFarland, you may have signed up more than once as well.
Online twice. I didn't know whether last week's sign up was good this week.
Mr. Young.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Jim Young. I live in Graham, and I've been the president of Durham Pistol and Rifle Club for, I think, about 6 years now. I might be wrong, but I think Durham Pistol and Rifle Club is one of the oldest ranges in North Carolina. They were established in 1946. We located to where they're at now off of Jim Minor Road in Hall River, 1987, 84. We've got, as of right now, I believe 218 acres. Probably more than half of that is a buffer. We've got 1,500 members, give or take one or two, depending on who renews their membership. I just, anytime there's any kind of ordinance that comes up that's going to affect my membership, I want to, somebody left their phone up here. I have to come and speak up for my members, and I think that we can reach some kind of balance with the county attorney and find some ground to where everybody's happy. Well, you're not going to make everybody happy, but at least we can find some kind of balance with all this. The ordinance, as the proposed ordinance, is not it. But I'm pretty sure we can reach some kind of balance with it. And I'm just going to be honest. The only reason we're even here and these other range guys are here is because of one place. And you can't punish the rest of us for what one place is doing. And that's my 2 cents. I appreciate you letting me speak, and I look forward to meeting with the county attorney. And I appreciate y'all. Oh, and it's Holocaust Remembrance Day, so we've got to remember it, because it's not going to be very many people around that were involved. So I appreciate y'all letting me speak. Thank you so much.
Jim, I'd have to look at my charter, but I think we might be on the same date. Alamance Wildlife Club, I thought was 46. It could be 46 or 48. I have to look at my charter. We've got 306 acres, a lot of buffer space.
Yeah, you need it.
So that was Jim Young.
Following Mr. McFarland will be Eric Henshaw.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak tonight. My name is David McFarling. I am the past president of Durham Pistol and Rifle Club. I was president from 1990 till sometime about 2002. I'm president of the North Carolina Rifle and Pistol Association. We have 1,500 members plus statewide. And I'm also a member of the Central Carolina Gun Club and still a member of the Durham Pistol and Rifle Club, so I have a vested interest in everything here. First, let me say that we won't ever contest anything having to do with firearm safety. Safety first, last, and always. But I've been a member of DPRC and CCGC for a long time, Durham Pistol and Rifle Club for 36 years. And they are the safest places in the world to shoot. I'm a high-power rifle competitor. I've shot on more firing ranges than most people have seen. I've spent more time on rifle ranges than anybody else here. I'll be willing to make that bet right now. And Durham Pistol and Rifle Club in Central Carolina are among the finest in the country. When I was at DPRC, we worked hard to work with the neighbors. If somebody had a complaint, we addressed it. I know we had some people send me a letter one time about Sunday mornings, and so I went to the next meeting, and we changed our opening time from 8 till 10 on Sundays, just because the neighbors asked. And so I think that there are a couple of pieces of this that are good. Berms, I think every bullet that's fired in North Carolina should go into a berm if you're not hunting. And then you should know what's behind your target. Fencing, you don't describe anything about fencing, how big, how much. That's very expensive. It could be a heck of an expense for a gun club. So that if you're going to pass the ordinance, that needs to be defined. One thing we need to do is define the difference between a commercial range and a private gun club. It gets kind of mucky in there. But private clubs, except the safety stuff, I don't think this county has the right to tell us what to do. Signage, we need good signage. You need to let people know they're about to pass onto a gun club where there might be live fire. Go along with that. When you talking about what time they can operate, do you tell the guy at 7-Eleven what time he can open and close? Registration, if you're a commercial range, you got a business license. And if the county wants to know how many gun ranges there are, they can go to the tax office and look that up. There's no problem with that. So I think that registration is just an extra tax. Sorry. But thank you for listening. And the North Carolina Rifle and Pistol Association would like very much to be involved in anything you do. Like I say, I'm an expert on rifle ranges. Thank you very much.
Mr. Henshaw?
So,
Lee
a lot of people
Hicks
showing
will
up.
be the next.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Henshaw. I own and operate Family Traditions Gun Range. I'm an indoor range down on the south side of the county. It seems like we're here because we're painting all ranges with the same brush. You comparing cars to pickup trucks. We don't roll like that at our spot, okay? We put safety first, safety paramount, especially with the community involved. I've been on ranges, everybody knows that. I've been on ranges since like probably the late 80s with my pops. He started handguns back in 1994. And things like this, like the gentleman was just talking about, that's going to come down to a bunch of adults sitting down talking about things, putting your neighbors first, putting some of your personal feelings back behind you. I get spot checked by OSHA, EPA, and ATF by being an indoor range, okay? There's no set regulations on outdoor ranges. That's why you're here, all right? We have to jump through hoops, okay? Air filtrations, all that good stuff. The air you breathe is cleaner than what you got in downtown Graham. All right, so couple things like the gentleman just the professional on the rifle range, definitely with your berms, your signage, all that, you good to go. But when you're talking about having certified personnel versus qualified personnel managing the people, all of my guys and girls out at my range, they're certified, not by their buddy saying that you're qualified. Put them out there, make them go to a school, watch them on these subjects. Make that safety paramount importance like it is at our facility. My main concern is not about my range, it's about also the taxpayers' money, all right? There's several county and city-owned outdoor ranges. That falls into your ordinance. Who's gonna pay for them registration fees? That's gonna be your taxpayers. If they have to upgrade these ranges and everything, that's gonna come down to your taxpayers. That's what really needs to be considered when we're talking about funding of these outside projects. Like I said, just don't paint the picture with the same brush. That's all I'm asking. Thank you for your time. You know where to find me.
And we thank you.
Yeah, he owns a gun range at 49
Okay,
South.
Mark Terry will be the next speaker.
Good evening. My name's Lee Hicks, and I live at 950 Border Lake Trail in Burlington, North Carolina. I'm here to represent myself and the neighbors of the Deep Creek community again, which is regularly affected by the Rad gun range. Contrary to some claims, the homeowners in the area are not anti-gun or against the Second Amendment. That seems to be the false narrative being spread. I'm a responsible concealed carry gun owner. I take pleasure in hunting on our family farm and lawfully owning various firearms, including handguns, long guns, and AR platform weapons. Additionally, I support other gun ranges within our county by participating in events such as turkey shoots, fundraisers for special causes, or simply honing my shooting skills. Unlike many people who frequent these ranges, I have the privilege of being able to hunt and shoot on land that I own. Recognizing this, it is evident that gun owners throughout the county need designated locations for practice. The distinction between merely owning a firearm and being able to use it safely is significant. Therefore, it is essential that there are facilities where individuals can responsibly hone their shooting skills, ensuring they remain accountable and proficient gun owners. This proposed ordinance aims to ensure that these facilities are operated and maintained with the highest safety standards. This ordinance does not threaten or infringe upon anyone's Second Amendment rights. Section 3 explicitly states that hunting activities, lawful defense of self or others, temporary shooting activities lasting up to 72 hours, and law enforcement training are exempt from its application. There are numerous codes and standards and ordinances that govern nearly every aspect of our daily lives. Building codes ensure that our homes and structures are constructed safely. Fire codes ensure that put safety measures in place for all the other buildings that every one of you frequent every day. Additionally, there's driving laws in the state of North Carolina which aim to enhance road safety and secure travel for all citizens. This proposed ordinance aligns with the previously mentioned measures. It represents a deliberate effort by the board to enhance safety, benefiting all residents of Alamance County in their pursuit of maintaining a safe, peaceful, and harmonious communities. Thank you for your time.
And we thank you. James Tate will follow Mr. Terry.
Mark Terry, my wife and I own property at 2528 Fawcett Lane. Good evening, Commissioners. I wanted to thank Attorney Stevens for the proposed ordinance regulating outdoor shooting ranges to ensure the safety, welfare, and quality of life for residents of Alamance County. For the record, I support Second Amendment rights as well as the rights of small business. I have a CWP, I'm a member of a shooting range, and I just recently completed the NRA's Range Development and Operations course. I paid for it with my own money and spent 2 days of my life doing it. It's an outline to success. It's designed to educate potential and current range owners and operators in identifying potential problems associated with range development, environmental issues, and safety. It also outlines developing a community relations program. Very few of the recommendations are being observed by the RAD range owners. Many pro-Second Amendment groups include the following as one of the golden rules of gun safety: know your target and what is beyond it. This means observing your prospective area of fire before you shoot. Never fire in a direction in which there are people or any other potential for mishap. You think first and you shoot second. The members of this RAD range deserve to know that it's not safe. They may not know that the berms are set up on the very fringe of their land, or that a miss or ricochet is traveling far away, destroying property and endangering lives. Just a few feet into the woods of an adjoining property 2 weeks ago with a Burlington Times reporter, we found a .223 bullet lodged backwards in a tree, along with other trees shot through with entry and exit wounds. A ricochet can send a bullet tumbling in any direction. The bullet is a .223 from an AR-15. In a previous meeting, another gun range owner stated concerns with RAD Range's use of their land. That range owns 218 acres. They accommodate 9 ranges, with the longest being 300 yards. This was a plea to commissioners to act so that one bad apple would not spoil the bunch. I'm afraid that's where we are. RAD's property is just over 23 acres and shaped irregularly with 7 or more sides, with a 500-yard range squeezed in on the edges. If RAD Range rejects these reasonable recommendations, it's because they don't own enough land to accommodate them. Many expensive life lessons have taught me that just because you can do something does not mean that you should. RAD has never spoken to the cause with concern or sought solutions, only denying its plausibility and that the community is on a witch hunt. By their own defiance and separation from the community, we have been at a standstill for years. In April last year, the newspaper reported an injury related to a negligent discharge during training at RAD. Without any protocols or police report, the victim walked away and admitted himself days later to Duke University with a penetrating wound. The range doesn't have adequate designs, side berms, backstops, or shooting houses to eliminate escapement of projectiles, whether deliberate, accidental, or negligent. Thank you guys for taking the time to advise this, and please include some residents that are knowledgeable about gun range when you do put together a commission. Thank you.
Okay, James Tate is next.
The previous speaker lives across the street
Not
from the
in the
gun
adjoining
range.
room or anything.
So it looks like there's quite a few people that are showing up. It must be an overflow
Dave
room.
Sharp will be next. All right, we'll skip to Paige Sharp. No Paige Sharp.
Yeah, she's
She's here.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Following Ms. Sharp will be Gerald Long. He's already spoke. Just be closer.
I live at 1873 Jim Barnwell Road. I want to start by stating that myself and my family own guns. We proudly support the Second Amendment, and that being said, I also believe that with those rights come responsibility to ensure the safety of others. Our family has lived here since before the RAD Range opened, and we've never had any serious concerns until now. During the week of December 16th through the 24th, we found a stray bullet in our driveway just 2 feet from our front door. At the last meeting, we spoke about ricochets. We've heard ricochets before all around our property, and it's unsettling, but finding a bullet so close to your home has taken that fear to another level. Every time I step outside, I find myself wondering, is today the day that something happens? The possibility of someone getting hurt is no longer just a worry. It feels like a reality. We're just inching closer to with every incident. As a mom and a grandmother, it's terrifying. I understand and respect the role of gun ranges in our community. However, safety has to be the top priority. Thank you for your time.
And we thank you. Mrs. Arantino, Joseph Shuford is next.
Hello, I'm Sean Sorrentino. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Grassroots North Carolina. We would really like to know why the first thing we heard about it is when one of our members said, hey, there's something going on in Alamance County. When you're doing something related to firearms, you probably should get in touch with the firearms organization in North Carolina. We spoke with our lawyer, and we asked him a few questions about your ordinance. And if I can scroll to the right place, he wanted to point out that in the very most recent, one of the overrides recently, the North Carolina General Assembly has made it illegal for you guys to downgrade a property by use of zoning.
We do not have countywide zoning.
Okay, well, what you're doing by changing the rules on a gun range has the effect of changing the zoning. That's what the law says. That's what the current law is. We would like it if you would contact us and talk to us about what you're planning on doing when it's about firearms, when it's about firearms owners. We can't react to this. We can't solve problems. We can't be part of a problem if we don't hear about it. So you have my phone number and you have my email address. I'll make sure to send the email so that you have it. Please contact us. Let us know what you're doing so that we don't come to this where we're all arguing about it in a meeting. Thank you very much.
And we thank you. Would point out, all of your telephone numbers are listed, and we'll give a copy of this to our Mr. Stevens, our county attorney. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Shuford. My home is 606 Hillsborough Road, Carborough, North Carolina. I'm an attorney at Fox Rothschild, and I'm here speaking on behalf of my clients, Howard and Patricia Dunn, who live at 2077 Jim Barnwell Road, Burlington, North Carolina. First, I want to thank you all for acting quickly to get this ordinance out in response to urgent safety concerns raised by your constituents. At the last meeting, you heard from many folks about the serious danger they face and continue to face from bullets leaving at least 2 different range properties. You heard your constituents ask for help and are responding, and I know my clients and others are extremely grateful to you for making safety a priority. Second, my clients, like many folks here supporting this ordinance, are pro-gun and pro-safety. They own guns and they like to shoot them, but they don't want to be placed in physical danger while walking around in their yards. They just want to be on their property without fear of being hit by a stray bullet. And I think this ordinance, and you heard from folks here, that this ordinance provides some common sense safety provisions that my clients strongly support. This ordinance says that shooting ranges have to have backstops and berms or barriers designed to prevent projectiles from leaving the property. That's common sense safety. This ordinance says that no one can recklessly or carelessly shoot a firearm in disregard of the safety of others. Again, common sense safety. And this ordinance says that a shooting range has to ensure that bullets stay on his property. That's also common sense safety. My clients are looking for an ordinance that provides this type of common sense safety requirements, but they don't want an ordinance telling them or anyone else which guns they can own or which guns they can possess. So I think it's important to highlight what this ordinance does not do. This ordinance does not apply to hunting, lawful defense, or law enforcement training. This ordinance doesn't legislate anything about the types of guns that can be shot at a shooting range, And this ordinance doesn't tell folks which guns they can or cannot own or possess. And my last point is that the danger to my clients and their neighbors is ongoing. Since the last meeting, bullets from Rad Range keep coming into their property and neighboring properties without their permission. They need an ordinance or they need an ordinance like this one or another safety ordinance just like it, and they need it soon. We appreciate you all and urge you to keep working on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fargus, Thomas Fargus,
Okay, that's the
after that,
attorney. Now, this is this is the pastor of Deep Creek
Scott
Baptist Church.
My name's Tommy Fargus. I live at 1907 Deep Creek Church Road. I pastor Deep Creek Baptist Church at 1753 Deep Creek Church Road. I want to start off by saying that since last time I was here and spoke, I've had several of the fine Rad Range supporters call, cuss me, threaten me. One called and said, after cussing me for a while, said that he would rape my wife and me watch, and then he would beat me. Number one, he's not man enough. Number two, I practice my Second Amendment rights, and I want these Rad Range folks to know you're treading in the wrong direction when you threaten me. I stand up for the community. We didn't move to your pitfall. Y'all moved into our nice neighborhood, and you're ruining it. Our people deserve to be able to sit on the front porch and enjoy their evening. We deserve to be able to sit in our church and have service and not hear gunfire. We can't have Sunday night service because all you hear, it sounds like Vietnam out there. Now, they may think it's funny, but I guarantee you most of them don't live at it. The smirks and so forth, I see you. But you don't have to put up with it at your house. We have to put up with it at ours. And now the safety part of it. When I have to go out the door and look around to see which one of the clowns is going to be the first to try something. It's getting old, people. The job of these people are to protect us. The deputies cannot come and sit in my driveway day and night. They can't come and stay in my house at night. But I promise you this, Smith & Wesson does, and his friend Ruger. And it's time for all this to stop. It's rude, it's obnoxious. I don't have degrees on noise control. I don't have patents, and I don't have all these other sophisticated things bragged about tonight. But I have a house that we can't go outside and enjoy anymore. I have a church that when we have activities outside, we have to watch to make sure a bullet's not going to fly our way, to make sure our elderly people and our kids are safe. Our people would love to be able to come and enjoy the activities at church without it sounding like on MASH when all the bombs is going off and all the guns. It's time to stop and have respect for the Deep Creek community. Thank you.
thanks, sir.
Wow.
Mr. Ward?
Jason somebody couldn't read his handwriting.
So I live at
State
2527.
your name.
Jason Rubin.
Right.
I live at 2527. It's the closest house to the range. And I just want to say the noise is not bad. The levels of it are low. It doesn't affect my cell phone service or my GPS. It doesn't rattle the dishes off my wall. My dog doesn't even hear it. But I'll tell you what does bother my dog. A plane repeatedly flying around my house doing loops and loops and loops and stalling it and turning the engines back on. And that's just a problem. And people should be able to harass people with a plane. And that's basically it. So.
Oh,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
that's getting pretty.
Don Foster,
Oh, this, yeah.
Stalvis, following you, Paige Sharp has already spoke. Dwayne Aldridge will be next.
He's on the podium,
All right, Mr. Aldridge. The last speaker after that is Mr. Barker.
Good evening. My name is Dwayne Allred. I live at 2302 Cooper Road, Graham. My great aunt, Cornelia Talley, lives at 2627 Fawcett Lane. Her property is directly behind the approximate 150-yard range ballpark. Again, I've told you this in the past, that direct fire is coming over to my aunt's property. Whether I mow, whether I hunt, whether I fish, there are live rounds coming over there. A few weeks ago, Keith Barber from the Times News approached me, asking if I would be willing to comment. I said yes. Me and Mr. Terry and Mr. McKenzie went out to my aunt's property. I was showing the reporter what was going on, my concerns, and if I can approach. This is the round that we found. That is a round from a 223, and we found it in a tree. That is a round that could potentially hit me, hit my aunt, hit my children. It could maybe just wound me, or it could kill me. I'm asking Rad Range. I am a member of the Durham Pistol Rifle Club. I have shot with Mr. Henshaw. I am a Second Amendment pro-gun Alamance County resident. I'm asking for help. Rudy, build the berms up. He says he's willing to work, but there's residents here that has tried to work with him. He's not working with them. They have reached out and touched base with him. He in Rad Range is the problem. I'm not talking about sound. I'm talking about live rounds that are going to hit somebody and kill somebody. If I was the owner of that business, I would be willing to talk to my neighbors and say, hey, what can I do to help? If you help your neighbors, you're willing to get more business in. It's common sense. I don't know how much more proof he needs to understand that the rounds are coming over. I'm not talking about a 50 BMG. I'm talking about 223, 5.56, 7.62, 7 millimeter. A machine gun being fired. How many rounds of that when that gun is going off and lifting? It's going to lose. On the proposed ordinance on Section 4, Design and Construction, for safety features, who decides backstops and berms are adequate enough? Is it going to be a third-party safety gun range, or is it going to be a sheriff's department? Please fix this, or rounds are going to keep on coming over, and I'm going to get killed.
Thanks, sir. And our last speaker.
Thanks.
It was Dwayne Allred. I need to interview him. This guy lives off of Pagetown Road, I believe.
My name is Stephen Barker. I'm at 6515 Pagetown Road, Burlington. It is not to be confused with the Rad Range. I have my own special problem where I am. There's a privately owned property that's only acre and a half, and they began shooting south of my home. It's been numerous events, and the owner has used it solely for the purpose of a gun shooting range. He has invited 9 persons to shoot with him on one occasion. This is less than 1,000 feet from my home. It's a huge safety issue and a noise disturbance. About 6 weeks ago, they shot over 1,000 rounds. They have shot across the property line. They've used my property as a berm, damaging over 3 dozen of my trees. Most of the shots were eastward, but some are northbound in the direction of my storage building. My home could also be in jeopardy by this carelessness. And the weekend of the 1,000 rounds, my satellite dish was even knocked out. Whether that but it's ironic that it happened that same day. I've read the county shooting range ordinance proposed, and I appreciate the consideration bringing something forward. It's difficult to battle these 10 people that come in to shoot, which I don't know who they are, and they may be violent. I just don't know, but it's a major problem, and I need help from the county. I even placed orange tape on the over 3 dozen trees that were damaged, so that they would have knowledge if they came back that they were probably doing something they shouldn't, and they showed up and they began shooting immediately, disregarding the orange tape. And I'd just like to say again, I need help from the county, and please carefully review the proposed shooting ordinance. Hopefully it'll be in a positive light, or take a good portion of it, because I need assistance from the county. I know Sheriff Johnson's tried to help me, and I appreciate all your help. Have a good day.
Thank you.